Greetings, everybody. We've gathered around at the table again today to continue our discussion on the Spider Kapara. And if you hadn't seen the scores earlier in the week, go back and check those out.
Yeah, overall, actually, some pretty mid-range scores. I think the three of us were actually fairly similar in our scoring and our judging, but
More
we
or
don't
less.
have Frankenstein mitts. So, you know,
Well, I can understand this being a problem area for Nigel, just looking at how skinny and small everything
it's a
is.
personal area for me, but it's not a too personal area. Jesus Christ.
It's his personal area.
Yeah.
The main issue for me is, you know, when you have like a cramp in your foot or your hand and you can't like extend your fingers properly, you feel like you're all twisted up.
Okay.
That's how I have to hold this knife, and it is horrible.
Put your thumb up. Leave everything else the same, but put your thumb into here. Is that any better?
Not
I
really,
think it's
because
just
I'm
too small for
pinching
his
there,
hand,
and
yeah.
then there's
Okay.
I don't even
Because
feel the
I-
rest of it. It's
I
like
was-
I'm not even holding it.
Fair. I was just saying to Paul earlier that I actually feel comfortable in that grip, and I
see
feel
you use that grip
comfortable.
all the time, though, on
Yeah.
weird knives.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
But I also feel more comfortable with my hand back out of that choil and my thumb in a more normal
Yeah, that's
position.
weird.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
weird as hell.
no,
for
I'm
me.
saying without the thumb.
Yeah, I realize what you're saying.
Yeah, like that. That
Like a
feels
hammer
better
grip
than
in the back.
that.
And
sort
that's
of
super weird.
thing. Yeah. Just have to stuff out.
Yeah.
And that actually dives into one of my biggest complaints about this knife is more than anything else, I personally think they made this finger choil too shallow.
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree.
And I want to slip back on it. It doesn't really give me enough. The ergos on it does fit my hand, short of the fact that this gets pinchy right here. And it feels like I want to, like it's putting me back to a normal grip instead of sinking me in like it should.
If you cut more of that out, though, that would become so small in there.
I know. I don't think
Mhm.
there's a good right answer towards it, but that is actually one of my big complaints is it.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with Dennis on that one for sure. But part of why I think on that is it will even up these two lines so it won't push it back that much when you actually grip it with the rest of your fingers. Because as soon as I go to close my hand, it does that.
It gets pointed, as
Yeah.
you call it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and again, depending on what this is in mind, it is named after a black widow spider, so
This is
a
true.
pointed
Yep.
towards whatever it may be grip might be something that.
We need to touch on that really quickly. I love the fact that the guy that made the original had called the what was it, the redback or the red stripe?
The
The
redback.
red back,
Yeah.
They called it the redback, and then Spyderco released the same design, but they called it the Kapara, which is the same name. It's the same spider, a different name for
Yeah.
the same spider. I love it. Like it's
And they included the little red stripe.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch for sure.
my favorite part about that knife, honestly.
Nicely made knife. And talk about your contouring on the handles, like pretty slick, pretty smooth. I don't think it necessarily gets rid of the issue you were talking about.
No.
Even for me, it does feel pointed.
Yeah. Yeah, like it definitely is a personal issue for me, but as far as the fit and finish and build of the knife, they did a gorgeous job on it. I love the hand feel of the carbon fiber. Like it's a very well made knife.
It
For
makes
sure.
me wish I had that contouring on my smock.
And-
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Actual carbon fiber on your stock.
I could go. I could go either way on that, but definitely the contouring.
Mhm.
Tai Chung again, knocking it out of the park. They
Indeed.
do a great job.
And I think the big thing, and we dabbled on it on the Tuesday video, is the cost versus materials. And I think I scored it the highest with an 8.
Mhm.
Because I did give it an 8. I think the rest of you guys was like 7s.
Yeah, it had a
7 for me.
For
Yeah.
the most part, right? So
Cost for which, sir?
materials.
Yeah, I gave it.
I gave it an 8 as well.
Yeah, I
and you were all talking about, S30V for being an expensive cost. And for S30, and that's why this bad boy got broken out tonight,
Mhm.
is for $100 more, an S90 upgrade,
Yeah.
give or take. And an US MSRP, not even 100. Like,
Yeah.
$40 more you can get into, or $50 more you can get into an S90. But doesn't take away from peel ply carbon fiber compared to real carbon fiber.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
The contouring makes that carbon fiber just really pop
Mhm.
really nice.
That
and
it
it's
does.
Beautiful.
The machining behind it is just fantastic.
Yeah.
and the rounding on it does have this sleesh buoy kind of feel to it. The way
Yeah.
that they've just nice subtle contour
The,
to it.
the
right?
gentleness
So,
to it. Yeah, it's cool.
You guys have heard us complain about this before, but as far as me and Dennis go, compression locks. God damn you, why?
They're so great.
I might actually be more on board with this one. Only reason being is as I was playing with it before recording, I realized that with that much of a finger choil, you can engage a compression lock and do a shake like you can with a lock back.
Fair enough.
And actually, once you get used to it, you can actually do that shake like you would any of the Spyderco lockbacks, any of the Cold Steel lockbacks, the Ultimate Hunter I carry on a regular basis. Yeah. So I think that for the first time, this finger choil, this guy just throwing points off by moving a knife by a goddamn inch, I tell you. Anyway.
But I agree. I think having that as an option for lefties is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the fact of how tight everything is together to have that.
It makes it more reminiscent of me closing.
Yeah.
A Delica or an Endura rather than something where I'm hanging on by a thread to do it properly.
Oh, this
like
is nothing, or like the
yeah.
Akuchi. This is nothing like either of those.
Yeah. So just on the note that we are actually able to drop shut it, this is one of the kind of second generations of the Kapara. They actually added in a little bushing around the pivot to make it so it is drop shutty. The first generations guys couldn't tweak it enough.
You didn't hear about this?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, no. This is second gen already.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's why these ones are drop shutty. The first gens guys were having so much of a hard time tweaking it up and trying to get it drop shutty, and they couldn't.
Well, shit. Kudos to Spyderco for going back and fixing that particular problem. That's awesome.
That's why we're reviewing it now and not before, because we couldn't get our hands on it before.
Well, and with Spyderco's kind of new policy that they've been kind of releasing things in first run, second run, third run. Like, between the first run and the second run, they automatically already heard feedback, fixed it, and within the same year, all of a sudden have a knife that everyone is a lot happier with, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is a nice attention to the community.
If you're buying it on the secondary market, maybe ask that question before you buy it.
I don't think there's any markings, so you better know which retailer you're getting it from, and if they know.
Retail. I'm talking about like secondary market, like just person to person.
But that's what I mean is how the initial buyer, how
they may
he's
not know.
Yeah, there's.
That's fair. If you need it, get it from a good retailer. Get it from the cutting edge.
Yeah. Plug them. Yeah, because they've only had the second gen. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get their hands on first gen, so that might have worked out better in the long run.
Honestly,
I think so.
Yeah.
Lanyard hole placement. It's below the pocket clip. The pocket clip is higher up than the lanyard hole. That's awesome. Not every Spyderco does it.
Yep.
Not every Spyderco does it.
It's something that we've asked for from Spyderco, actually. Yeah.
So it's just cool to see that they're at least on some designs they're doing it.
And not making it an afterthought. That doesn't feel like they're like, oh crap, we forgot where to put something, drill it through. It does still look like an intentional design, and it flows with that design.
Since we're talking about lanyard holes and pocket clips, wire clip, which I think is the right choice.
Still a personal favorite for sure.
Yeah,
especially for a slimline design like this.
Yeah.
And actually, you were dabble right on that. I was going to dabble that on a topic was the pocket ergonomics. Again, with the Spyderco, and I did dabble on it on a Tuesday episode, is the thin design on it. Grab a Mannix, grab a PM2, even at the widest spot on the hump. This guy here, I mean, they came out with an Akuchi, they came out with a Smock, so they've been leaning towards, again, following customer feedback and getting something
more narrow designs
that doesn't take up such a footprint in your pocket.
And the angle on that, if you look at if we line this up with the grid, I love this grid, straight up and down, this actually leans backwards into the seam of your pocket. So when you're reaching past, you only need to go past half the knife before you get way more clearance.
Yeah. And as far as like my personal scores go, pocket ergos was actually my second highest.
There you go.
Fair enough.
It's like the guy's pretty comfy in pocket for sure.
Yeah. Also dabble, and I don't know, but I'm guessing those are titanium.
I think so.
That looks like a titanium pivot color, and they did do a little bit of like the Loco from Benchmade kind of triangular star pivot on it. You can sue each other later. That's fine, guys.
They both bought them from the same supplier. It's okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I like that design a lot, actually, for the pivot.
Yeah, Yeah, and adds to the polished hardware and doesn't make it too blingy as well at the same time to be able to throw that in.
I hadn't considered that before, but it does kind of make these little accents visually, like they kind of shine out where this is a little bit more dull. Like, yeah, I kind of like that contrast.
Well, you see, the whole technique with a Black Widow is you've got to distract long enough that I can bite your ass, and then
He wants to bite your ass.
Dirty.
I'm scared.
I'm not a Black Widow.
Sure you aren't.
Where's
exactly-
That's it. Like I said,
that's
taking the
exactly
mics off. I'm
what-
done discussing.
A Black Widow would have said is, I'm not a Black Widow.
Yeah.
Don't fall for my wiles. Jesus. Anyway, we're talking about a knife here. Goddamn it.
Yeah.
I love the grind that they put on this thing. It is such a slicey, like it's almost a complete full flat grind. It's
Yeah.
just really nice.
Very, very nice and slicey.
Spyderco and their FFGs, man. They know what they're doing.
Mhm.
Yep,
It's
100%.
good stuff.
And didn't go over the top on blade stock as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty
Well-
thin. It's thinner than a Delica, and even a PM2 if you look at the spine thickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy here, they definitely compensated and made it a nice gentleman. They weren't trying to pretend this to be a hard use knife. I don't think, right? So
I don't think they build it as such. No.
it shines where it's supposed to shine. Yeah.
And we touched on it before, but one of my favorite features of this knife is that red backspacer. It just, it's not loud, it's not blingy, it's not like a really, really bright red. It's just a nice accent.
And it's
You
weird that
mean-
this is somehow less obnoxious than the Techno 2, or the Techno 1, whichever had the blue backspacer. That
Yeah.
was just,
I think the blue was because of the gray.
I think so, yeah. But the black and the red is just a slick color
Are you
choice.
saying that you didn't want a bright red cracked ice finish on this backspacer? Or
No, I'm good.
Would that be too much bling?
That might actually be even too much for me.
Is there actually?
I
such
haven't
a
seen
thing?
that in mine. Yeah. One last small note that I kind of wanted to dabble on, and it's not even that big of a note, is the compression lock itself, whether it's left or right-handed, it's very, very smooth. They did a really nice job polishing it. It looks really streamlined, but I did notice that as far as texture to grab goes, there's other Spydercos that I feel like engage a little bit better, right?
It's
Yeah.
a little bit slick.
Yeah, just adding a little something back there, whether it's a scallop or two or a piece of jimping or something like
Yeah.
that.
I was gonna say scallop, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same vein as like the Gail Bradley series. Just take those corners down in a nice little pattern. It would still look gentlemanly. It wouldn't look tactical.
Yeah,
But
we
it-
wouldn't need much, just like 3 or 4 little divots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something, I think. So, and it's just a personal preference, but I don't think anyone would mind adding 1 or 2 of those, and I don't think it would have any negative effects to do it as well, right? So, but
Indeed.
other than that, the fit and finish, the overall,
Yeah.
Tai Chung is knocking it out of the park.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly.
If you can get this in hand and figure you like it, sorry, Nigel.
Yeah.
Then I mean, I can't see a reason not to pick this up, even if you are a lefty.
Yeah, like it's, as Dennis had figured out there, it's still usable with the compression lock. So yeah, it definitely can be enjoyed by lefties for sure.
more so than a lot of other compression
Yeah.
locks I've played with. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
finger choil is a big part of it. I might play a little bit more with the PM2 and see if I can maybe get that same action because I know they've got one. But
Yeah.
it all kind of depends on how the blade like actually
Swings,
swings,
yeah.
right? So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it might be something I play with a little bit.
Yep. So yeah, once again, gonna give a big giant thank out to the cutting edge. That's
Hashtag
right.
thank you.
That's right.
Hashtag it's a thing.
Damn straight.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for letting us play with this knife again.
Cool. Very unique design. Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
letting us play with it, guys.
Yeah. And that being said, this is Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
And XL.ca.
We will catch you again next time.
We don't need